Hey, what's up, guys? Quick comparison between the Vault 2 and the ZTE Prestige, just in case you guys are in the Boost Mobile store or on the website deciding which phone should you get. Well, hopefully this video is going to help you out. So let's just jump right into the specs. Both phones are running 5.1 Lollipop, so you're getting the near latest operating system offered by Android. Both devices have a 5-inch display, with the Vault 2 having resolutions of 720 by 1280 and the Prestige having 480 by 854. The Vault 2 has 294 pixels per inch, while the Prestige has 196 pixels per inch. The Vault 2 using an IPS LCD display, as the Prestige using a TFT display. Vault 2 having an 8 megapixel rear-facing camera with LED flash, as the Prestige has a 5 megapixel rear-facing camera also with LED flash. Both devices record in 720p HD, that's 1280 by 720 resolution for video recording. The Vault 2 having a 5 megapixel front-facing camera, and the Prestige having a 2 megapixel front-facing camera. Now, if you're wondering the chipset in this device, the Snapdragon 410 is in the Vault 2, as the Snapdragon 210 is in the Prestige. The Vault 2's chipset is clocked at 1.2 gigahertz quad-core, and the Prestige is clocked at 1.1 gigahertz. Now, for the graphics, Adreno 306 on the Vault 2, and I believe the Adreno 303 is on the Prestige. Both have 1 gig of RAM, both have 8 gigs of internal storage, both support micro SD up to 32 gigabytes, and the battery capacity, a 2540 mAh battery on the Vault 2 and a 2300 mAh battery on the Prestige. So that's the specs for you guys. So let's go ahead and physically check them out. You guys can see side by side, the Prestige is a little bit taller. If you put them together, the Prestige is also wider. So, I mean, the Prestige is a little bit bigger of a phone compared to the Vault 2. Of course, the Vault 2 looks real when you turn around to the back. It looks really, really, really nice. Okay, you have all your power button, volume rocker in the back underneath the camera, and it's got this nice sleek look to it. Not to say that the Prestige is a bad looking phone. I mean, the matte finish on the back cover is actually quite nice, and this red trim around the device is pretty awesome itself. Now it really boils down to exactly like what you're looking for in a smartphone, as ZTE pretty much gives you basic stock Android, whereas you get a little bit more nicer display with the Vault 2. Now the Vault 2, while it does have LG's customization on it, but it stays pretty much near close to stock Android. So it's not like heavy skinned. Of course, one thing you'll notice here is that you do have on-screen keys, which is on the ZTE Prestige. You have capacitive buttons down here, and really, it's all about preference for you guys. If you prefer to have on-screen keys, that's fine. Of course, we know that with a 5-inch display and the on-screen keys taking up some of that screen real estate, you're not really getting a full 5-inch real estate used, whereas you will with the ZTE Prestige, since the command buttons are basically at the bottom here as a capacitive. But I gotta tell you guys right now, honestly, the Vault 2 is much snappier, much faster. But for me, the Prestige can pretty much hang as far as it being responsive. It's just the Vault 2 is going to be a lot faster. It does have the 400 series processor in it, so you're going to get a little bit better of the experience with the Vault 2 than with the Prestige. But for the Prestige being very low spec, it can pretty much hold its own. Let's go ahead and take a look at the camera. So we'll put that into play right there, and we'll let this kind of focus here. As you guys can see, I mean, it's the camera quality is actually not bad at all on the Vault 2. It's actually quite nice. 8 megapixels, pretty much standard, but you know, when you flip it around, you get that 5 megapixel front-facing camera. There I am. That's actually quite nice. You guys can see, like, you know, the colors are a little bit more bolder and on, you know, this camera itself. 5 megapixels, and this is pretty much the resolution that you get with the rear-facing camera on the ZTE Prestige. So, you know, if you're a person who's really heavy into photos, the Vault 2 is probably going to be your better choice, as it can take better photos than the Prestige can. But, back out real quick. That's not to say that the camera quality on the ZTE Prestige is like super bad. As I did in a review video, you know, it is quite nice. I mean, I don't know how well you guys can see that on camera, but that is a really good shot to take. Mind you, if I flip it around to the front-facing camera, okay, it's not as like vibrant as the Vault 2, and sometimes the white balance can, you know, get a little off. But for a selfie, that's pretty good. Indoor lighting, that is pretty good. Let me get the camera to focus here. That's actually pretty good. So you really can't complain when it comes to the front-facing camera. It's just really what you're looking for. And actually, the white balance is not from the front-facing camera on the Prestige. It's actually from the phone that I'm recording with. The white balance goes off because of my lamp. But I mean, that's let's pop back into the camera. Okay. Let me try to do this so you guys can see them side by side. Okay, so even you guys see right there, I mean, right there, you guys can see the difference between the front-facing cameras. But one thing that you guys can say is that they are both visible, and that is overall like the one thing that really should be in consideration when looking at front-facing cameras and things like that, or rear-facing cameras, is just, you know, how well is it going to pick up the photos. 2540 milliamp hour battery with the Vault 2. I can tell you guys that I can get about 16 hours of heavy use, and a 2300 milliamp hour battery with the ZTE Prestige, and on heavy use I got about 10 to 11 hours. So both will get you through your day and get you home, be able to charge up your phone when you get home. One thing that's actually pretty cool about the Vault 2 is that it does have a curved back, and that does help when holding the device. It just makes it feel really nice to hold in the hand, nice and snug, and able to, you know, pretty much just go throughout the whole day and not, you know, feel stress of holding the device. That cannot be said for the ZTE Prestige, as it does have the standard flat back. Holding it is not going to be so much of a big deal, but, you know, after a while, you know, because of its flat backing, eventually, you know, your hands are going to feel just like you have to shuffle around just to kind of get a good, comfortable grip. So really, I mean, you know, the Prestige is not too far behind, which some would expect it should be, considering the fact that it is well entry level. Like the Vault 2, I will not consider that an entry level smartphone, just because, you know, it does have a better performance, but it can handle a lot more things. As you guys can see, there's like tons of apps loaded on here, and, you know, it runs well with just only having 1 gig of RAM, where that cannot be said for the ZTE Prestige. I don't have a lot of apps on the ZTE Prestige at all whatsoever, but still, you know, some of the more heavy intense, like Stream with a dot, Snapchat is on there, Kick Video, Facebook, Google Plus, you know, Yik Yak, I have those all on there, Zedge, YouTube Music. So, I mean, you know, there is some power-intensive applications on the ZTE Prestige, and it's still running just quite nicely. So, all in all, you know, the Vault 2 is still the better choice between both devices. But that's not to say to cancel out. Like, if you have the $150 to drop on the Vault 2, you know, then by all means go for it. But if you're looking for something that can hang with the Vault 2, and, you know, you can drop just like $100 and not $150, well, then the ZTE Prestige is going to be a great buy. So, really, I gotta say, there's not a huge gap between these two devices. They're pretty much like on each other just with the Vault 2 just slightly edging it in just about every little department of comparing both devices. So, hopefully this video was able to help you guys out. And if it has, let me know by hitting that like button. Subscribe if you have not. And, yeah, you'll see me in the next video. Thanks for watching this one. My name's Tito with Aloha Android, and I'm signing out.